Hey there folks, and welcome back to Skullmonkeys, and welcome to the Hard Boiler. The Hard Boiler is when the game stops pulling some of its punches. As you might notice, there is no longer a safety net below Clayman. There are now gaps in the floor which are bottomless pits. Falling into those is an instant death, and that will be on par for the course for the majority of the game from now on. You might also notice the flames coming out from the ground. The game now expects you to have a handle on basic mechanics. It also expects you to learn advanced mechanics, like jumping on enemies' heads to get a bigger bounce to reach the platforms up here. As you noticed earlier, I jumped on that Skullmonkey's head to get up here. That is actually one of the harder jumps to do in this level, as if you do not press jump at the right time when you're hitting the Skullmonkey's head, you do not get the little teeny tiny boost that you need to hit that platform. It is really frustrating. For example, here, you just need to jump on the head of the Skullmonkey. You don't even need to press jump again. But on the previous jump, you would not have got onto the platform that I got onto if you didn't hit jump at the right time. You might also notice the flames that serve more as a way to slow you down than anything else. And I use the far clone here because there's two ways to go now to get to the red and gray clay balls. We want to do the red ball because there's some lives there, but that's the way to the gray clay ball. But to get to the red one, you have to jump on that Skullmonkey head, quickly avoid both these heaters, and go up and over, chased by some fire here, and get some extra lives and get to the red ball. And as soon as we start this part, there's a secret hidden behind the foreground pipe. Now those foreground pipes are used to block those puffs of smoke. You'll see later that some flames will come up without the grates at the bottom, and you can tell that there's flames coming by little puffs of smoke coming out of the ground. Now in some cases, the pipes will cover up those puffs of smoke, or will cover up the fact that there's a pipe there, or a grating there, I mean. And I have no idea how to reach that power-up, making it pretty damn difficult to notice that something will hit you there. It's a pain in the ass, it's a cheap shot, like right there, like you don't always notice it, or right here, you don't always notice it because of the pipe. It's a very cheap way to make the game more difficult, and I don't really like it that much. The flames in the game are more of a tactic to slow you down than anything else. They're not all that challenging to avoid except for a couple places. In most places, it's just there to annoy you and to slow you down. That's about it. Because rushing through this is just a recipe for getting hit by flames. And now let's check out the gray ball. The gray ball stage also has a secret at the very start, but in this case the 1970s icon is there, unlike in the previous level where the 1970s icon was right in plain view. In this one you have to find a secret to obtain it. And getting up on here is also very difficult. That was a tough jump to do off of the monkey's head. Those are also time blocks that explode after a certain period of time, as you would have figured. But in general, this area kind of overstays its welcome, as you'll see in a bit. It's not too bad yet, but there's not all that much you can do with flames and the tactics that they introduce here, and it just keeps going and going. No idea why I returned back there for those clay balls. As you might notice, the Skullmonkeys, at least the ones that aren't flying, which those guys are called flappers, but the ones on the ground are more of a just fodder for you to jump on. That's about it. They're not really, or for you to get up to higher places, they're not really any sort of threat in the game anymore. And pretty much won't be for a while, except for some clever positioning here and there. And that is it for this level. And I believe we've gotten all the secrets in this area too. It's pretty weird how they handle the secrets, with some areas having tons upon tons of secrets, and while others just have one or two. It's actually very frustrating because you start scouring levels for secrets, only to realize that there's no more to be found, and you're expecting, 10 or 7 secrets like you have in previous levels. And yeah, those flying guys are called flappers. They're not very hard to avoid. And there's a lower path here too that you can go on. There's not too much difference between the upper and lower path. The upper path might be a tad harder to go through, but falling down gives you a little safety net to reach the lower path, whereas in the lower path, if you fall down, you go straight into the abyss and die. And you gotta back up here to get that swirly cue that's hidden right here. And just more flames to avoid. Now, normally in the past, the levels would have ended after you reach the end of this level. Usually it's about 4 or 3 levels long, but they added a 5th level at the end here, and this is where it starts to get pretty annoying. There are no new mechanics introduced here. There's one clever bit here near the end that they mix things up just a little bit, but in general, they just put in the same thing and make you do it over and over again. And you'll see just how dumb this level is. The moving platforms are going to be a theme here, specifically ones with flapping monkeys nearby. Specifically these that go in an arc of a half circle here, and a flying monkey above it, the flappers. And that's it. There's like so many sections in this level, which is just this. I'm not sure why. It just seems like a lack of creativity, and it just seems stuck here for no reason whatsoever. It's annoying and not difficult, and it just keeps going. You'd think it'd be over, but no, they keep tossing in more and more of these. And yep, more of this stuff as we've seen before. And you can jump on the flying monkeys, but usually it's preferable just to duck under them. And that was the one clever part of the level there, where the fire was blocking you from getting on that moving platform. And the platform has to be timed so that you jump on the fire and then jump off right afterwards to reach the platform. And that is it for the hard boiler. Let's check out the bonus room. This is a pretty minimal bonus room with just all these prize balls and a bunch of clay balls inside. That's all there is to it. There's a couple birds past the exit point that we're going to pick up, but that's about it. So that was the hard boiler there. Yep, there we are. Secrets 3 out of 3, and that's the third world complete.
Dear Clayman, thank you for responding to my call so promptly. That wicked clog monkey has got my people working on a deadly weapon called Evil Engine Number 9. He's going to use it to blow up the neighborhood. Enclosed is a sacred root that will help you when you need it most. Sincerely, Jerry-O. P.S. Do not eat of the root or you will break out in painful itchy sores.
Alright, and welcome to the obligatory snow/ice level that pretty much every platformer must have in it. Fortunately, there's no slippery physics in this one. So what we saw there was a snow blow. They shoot clay balls at you that kill you. And what we picked up is something called Slappy the Hamster. Slappy the Hamster is a hamster shield, and if anything touches one of your 3 hamsters, they will take damage and die usually, and you lose a hamster. Slappy will go away after a while. Slappy is also a very dumb name, because it's just so wacky. But it's not very useful because K.R.E.A.M can still die from a bunch of stuff. It's not invulnerability, it's literally if anything touches one of the hamsters, it will die, or protect K.R.E.A.M from it. But if K.R.E.A.M hits something with his feet, like a bullet or something like that, or his head, where those hamsters don't touch, or if you have less than 3 hamsters and there's that gap in between, you will die. So I'm not a huge fan of Slappy the Hamster. Those snow blows are pretty easy to deal with usually. In one level though, they're used very well and they become very annoying, maybe even more than one, but in general they give you a path of avoiding them, so it's not too bad to deal with. Like over here, you can get a huge combo bounce just killing all these guys. You can probably take this a lot easier and slower, but that's the fun way of doing it. So one thing I kind of don't like about this game as well is the lack of cohesion between the plot and the levels and things like that in general. But first, this is the red ball that we didn't go to last time. This one's a little bit harder than the gray ball, and this one uses the snow blows to its fullest, to their fullest, I guess. They're in places where you might want to jump, and they will be a huge hindrance here. They just stay in one place and shoot forward, that's about it. They can move the gun up and down. But like right here, if you try to jump over the first bullet, the second guy will get you. Back to the cohesion though, for example with the hard boiler and snow and the cutscene in between, there is nothing to indicate why K.R.E.A.M's outside in the cutscene, or why K.R.E.A.M went to the hard boiler, or how he's in the snowy Alps here. Nothing at all. There's no cohesion at all between the levels. I use a fart cloud here because I really hate that guy, and I guess I could have used a homing pigeon against him as well, or one of my bullets. But since I don't really like the farts, I might as well show it off just a tiny bit more here. And it's best just to skip those guys. Slappy will not help you against them. In fact, I've tried jumping down there, I've been killed by their bullets before. But yeah, these levels kind of seem just taped together with no real reason for K.R.E.A.M to go from one to the other. And it's really sad because there is some sort of story going on here, but it doesn't make sense why K.R.E.A.M's going through all these levels. And this is the final level of Snow. There's a really interesting thing in the background that's just never explained. There's all these markings on and stuff, and I have no idea what that is. This level is tricky for 2 reasons. First of all, it can get pretty annoying because it's a vertical level. So falling down is more of an annoyance than anything else because you will hit the bottom at some point, and unless you fall through one of the gaps and kill yourself, you'll just have a long time getting back up, and that's not fun. The other reason why it's tricky is because of all the snow blows everywhere, and they kind of try to block you from getting to places that you want to go. Another thing that I don't like about this level is the minimal parallax scrolling in the background there. Usually in the other levels you get much more of a frame of reference of where you're going to land and when you're going to go. In this one though, the movement is very minimal because you're mostly moving up and it's not moving the background all that much. In fact, I think the background remains static and it's just those pillars that move around. So it makes it a lot harder to judge where you're going to end up landing. The secrets all in this level are just found by going in a direction that you might not normally go into. There's very easy to see platforms that will lead you there, and I'm not sure why most of them consider secrets, but the game will tell you secret, and it'll be a secret. And there's also a lot of split paths that lead you to the same place. It's not really all that different to go one way or the other, it's just whatever you prefer as being more fun. The music in this level is pretty good, I like it a lot. And the problem is with those, there's a secret right there. See, that was very easy to spot. The problem with the checkpoint system in this level is, as I said, if you fall down, you kind of have to waste a life to get back up. Otherwise, you will take forever to get back up, because you'll just keep falling and falling. Thankfully, the checkpoints are plentiful. And just a few more snow blows here, blocking our way. I do like the K.R.E.A.M handgun bullet firing mechanic that they have in this game. It does give it a little more depth than some other platformers where you just jump on things. More clocks to blow up. Clock blocks, or whatever they're called. But yeah, no idea what that thing is in the background. Looks like some sort of well-designed artifact. And here's a very annoying bonus room with enemies in it. Even though the song promises you there are no enemies over here, there are a bunch of snowblows shooting at you, and those stupid blue blocks that get destroyed after you touch them. I really don't like this bonus room, and I'll die in a couple seconds here. But that's it for snow, so I'll see you folks next time.